Hi guys, I'm going to do a quick run through 18.2, Alternative Energy and Conservation, just in case someone here has picked a power on this list. These are more of the renewable types that are considered alternative because they're not that popular yet, or the technology isn't there yet, and we're just not using them as much as we would for, say, the 5 top renewables. So here we go. Alternative and how we should conserve energy. What is alternative energy? So basically, any energy that is in development still. The energy source must be cost effective. The environmental effect must be acceptable. The government investment makes research available and future energy possible. So back in the day, when solar, wind, geothermal first came about, they were considered alternative energies. Now they're more mainstream energies, renewable, but not necessarily alternative. So alternative are more some of these other energies that are still in progress, still in research. So the first one is tidal power. So it's not really that popular yet. And part of it is it has limitations. Obviously, it needs to be at the ocean, so it needs to be at the beach. Not a lot of beachfront yet that hasn't been developed on. So that's one of the downfalls. But what is it? Basically using the tide as it comes in and then again as it goes out. So that power of the tide, that's called tidal power. So what causes the tides? Well, it's the movement of oceans and seas caused by the gravitational attraction between the sun, the earth, and the moon. So it's basically the pull of the moon. It happens 2 times a day, and the rise and fall of sea levels. So that's 2 high tides and 2 low tides, by the way. How does it work? The tides rise and fall behind a dam. So this is where your hydroelectricity comes into process. So it works like a river, but it's the ocean. So the tides rise and fall behind the dam. The sea level falls, water is trapped behind the dam. The water is then released back into the sea while turning the turbine, creating electricity. Disadvantages, it is super expensive to create and there are few locations available. I believe our closest tidal power right now, and it's more like a study in operation. There's not a lot of power they gain and use from it, but there is one in Maine if you want to check it out. Okay, next. So ocean thermal energy conversion, OTEC, OTEC. This is using the temperature differences to generate electricity. So it's another ocean one, but it's not using tides, it's using the differences in temperature. So on the top, it's super warm. On the bottom, it's a lot colder. So using this difference is how we generate electricity. So the warm water on the top, cold water deep in the ocean. The warm water placed in a vacuum turns to vapor. That vapor turns a turbine, creating electricity. The vapor turns back to liquid from being cooled by deep ocean water. The output, fresh water. The effects of pumping cool water to the surface is still unknown. This is big place for this is Hawaii. So if you chose this one to do, actually, I don't think it was on the list, but feel free to email me if you'd like to do it. There's just not a lot of information out there, but Hawaii, I believe, is the hotspot for OTEC right now. Hydrogen power. So hydrogen power is up and coming. It is the most abundant element in the universe, is hydrogen. It can be burned as fuel. It can be found in every living thing. It doesn't leave pollution when created. It combines with oxygen to create water vapor, which is harmless. So the main challenges for this is that it's not very efficient. So to produce a lot or produce hydrogen is not very efficient. There is a lot of hydrogen that's needed to produce the same amount of energy as, say, a tank of gasoline. So it's not efficient yet. They're trying to work on it. A lot of studies being done right now, a lot of projects to make it more efficient, but right now that is the biggest challenge. Fuel cells do produce electricity chemically by combining hydrogen fuel with oxygen from the air. So easy enough to do, just not a very efficient source of power yet. Energy efficiency, speaking of energy efficiency, what is that? That is defined as the percent of energy put into a system that does useful work. So if I was to look at it in an equation, I would say the energy efficiency equals the amount of energy or useful amount of energy out divided by the energy in times 100. Also known as the first law of thermodynamics, the energy going in must equal energy coming out. Otherwise, it's not efficient at all, is it? Heat transfer reduces energy available to do work. So 40 to 60% is wasted as heat. Hybrid cars, that is another alternative energy source, although that's becoming more mainstream as well. It is usually because I know there's some FUVs out there that are now hybrids. Smaller, efficient vehicles, small gas engine with electric motor for extra power. It converts energy of braking into electricity. It is less harmful emissions, and they are aerodynamically designed. So with the cars, there is a slide missing from that, but um, there is now totally not hybrid cars, but there is electric cars. Okay, so that is also considered an alternative energy source. Look at the Tesla and any of those cars. Okay, there are downfalls with those cars as well because the whole point is to reduce air pollution. However, if you are plugging your car in every night and your house is running on fossil fuels, then you're kind of still contributing to air pollution. So just saying. Vehicle having less off the roads or less on the roads for vehicle air pollution is good. However, it is still a source, somewhat like a secondary source of air pollution if you're still plugging it into your house and your house is relying on fossil fuels. All right, so the next term is called cogeneration. So this is when you take the byproduct of one energy and you use it to fuel something else. So the production of two useful forms of energy from the same fuel source. So example, waste heat from a furnace can power a steam engine to produce electricity. The best thing we can all do is energy conservation. That's the thing we should all do. And Earth Day was yesterday, so keep in mind of the things you can do around your house. I know there's not a lot we can do outside right now, but there's a lot we can do around the house to save energy. So if you were to go out and go somewhere and it is a short distance, walk or ride a bicycle. Carpool, use public transportation when you're allowed to go places again. Drive a fuel efficient automobile. Choose Energy Star products. Recycle and choose recycle products whenever possible. Set the computer to sleep mode when they are not in use. Turn off the lights if you're not in the room. Don't leave the TV on if you're going out to get a drink or if you're going to do one of your chores around the house. You don't need to have the TV running. Things like that. All right, so that's it, folks. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. And if anybody has questions on the energy project or your energies, feel free to email me. Bye.